Hey guys, welcome back to another vlog from the series Straight from the Belly, and today I'm super excited to share with you my birth story. And this is going to be a long one, so stay tuned. And I'm going to have to backtrack a little bit from the end of my third trimester. But before that, I'd like to say that throughout my pregnancy, I kept traveling, like I mentioned in the previous episodes, and I didn't have problems or any issues while I was traveling because I tried my best to make sure and be safe while traveling and get the doctor's permissions and everything, all of that. So I kept traveling between Mumbai and Bangalore and Goa and Hyderabad, and I tried as much as possible to eat home cooked food wherever I went. And I didn't have any issues while I was in the flight, during takeoff or landing. It was very peaceful and I was lucky for that. But yeah, it was a pretty smooth run for me, because I think one of you asked me this question in my previous video, so that's what it is. And I had to stop traveling and after my 32nd week, which is about 45 days before my due date. So what happened when I stopped traveling is I stuck to one city, which is Mumbai, but I still continued to teach. I kept dancing for even until 1 week before my due date, and that helped me that kept me going. Actually, I was happy to teach, I was happy to dance, get out of the house and meet my students and all of that. But apart from that, my daily routine was like this. So I would wake up in the morning, go for a walk in the garden and do my chanting, pranayam and meditation practice. And after that, I would also practice Kegels. Now, Kegels are basically an exercise meant for your pelvic floor muscles, because they say that during delivery your pelvic floor muscles get so loosened up, and then you have problems peeing and all of those issues. So I used to practice Kegels, and then I would come back home, eat healthy, drink tender coconut water, and everything was on track. Then I would come back and work a little bit and then sleep and all of that, and I would journal. Like I said, I would write as much as I can. I would read about my pregnancy to kind of equip myself with as much information that I need for postpartum and all of that. So pretty much I used to be occupied with all of this, just being aware of my body, being with myself, creating a spiritual environment and stuff like that. And then I started to look forward to my due date. So I was due on the 9th of March, and my parents were here on the 1st of March. So I was really excited. Everybody was like, waiting. It was a full house, and everybody was trying to prepare for the baby, trying to make arrangements in the house and stuff like that. And I happened to go for a routine check to my doctor, and he was like, okay, you gotta go and get a scan done at this time. So when we went to get a routine scan, we found out that I was low on amniotic fluid. So basically, the fluid that the baby is in has come down to a level of 7 out of 10. And it wasn't a major concern, but the doctor was like, what, to be on the safer side, it's better that we induce you with labor now. So this happened on the 2nd of March, this whole checkup and speaking to the doctor and all of that. Then he was like, okay, let's not take any chances, tomorrow you can come and get admitted. But luckily for me, the hospital that I was going to deliver in was just a stone's throw away from my house. Like, from my bedroom I can see the labor room. That's how close by the hospital is from my house. And I was blessed with this, because throughout my pregnancy I was so relieved to not have to travel anywhere and go long distances. I had a very, very, very good experienced senior doctor. So that's what happened, and I got myself admitted on the 3rd of March in the morning. And I was completely mentally prepared for I was due just 1 week later, so I wouldn't call it a premature delivery. I was full term though, but I was prepared. Even though it was a week before, I was still mentally prepared to get into this. And I happened to go there, and then the doctor was like, I'm going to examine your uterus and then check what's the situation like and stuff like that, and then I will let you know if I have to really induce you. So that happened. He examined, and he decided to induce me with artificial labor, because I was not already into labor naturally. So there is this thing called pectocin, which the doctor inserts in your uterus, and that kind of induces labor. So till then it was all good. I could breathe through it. I was bearing the pain. I was trying to remember all my yoga practice and my belly dance practice, and the doctor was like, your pelvis is pretty roomy, you have good space in your pelvis and your hips, so I don't think you'll have any problem and stuff like that. So I was pretty happy, and I put all of my exercise and discipline of yoga and belly dance practice into good use. So that's how it went. We started, he induced me with labor at around 11:30 in the morning, and I kind of dozed off after that. So I was in and out of sleep, and slowly I started experiencing contractions. And until then, I didn't know what contractions felt like, though I was wanting to experience it naturally. But anyway, that didn't happen. But then I started getting contractions. So initially they were small, they were not so frequent, but gradually they started getting bigger, longer, stronger, and I was meditating through it for the first half. I was chanting, I was breathing, I was doing a couple of exercises, I was doing a couple of belly dance movements as well, like some hip figure of eight, some undulations, and that really helped me to survive through it. But I think by around 3:30-ish, it became unbearable. Like the pain was so much that I just thought that I don't know if I can do this thing. And my husband was there, and he was like, okay, what can I do to calm you down? And he was massaging my back, and we had seen a couple of videos where the partner can kind of help the person in labor relax and stuff like that. So we were trying a couple of those things, and after that, what happened was it went out of my control. Like I just couldn't. It felt like someone is throttling my uterus. Like I was like in a world of pain, and no amount of discipline or prior preparation could have prepared me for this, because this is something completely unforeseen, and I was really praying to get through this as soon as possible. So then I complained to the nurse. I said, nurse, just this is too much pain, I can't bear it. I was crying and wailing on top of my voice. Everybody in the hospital could hear my screams, and they were feeling bad for me or whatever. And then the nurses came, they checked, but I was hardly dilated. They were like, no, you still have such a long way to go, you're hardly dilated, and you have to wait and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, I cannot do this thing. I was grabbing onto things and trying to breathe through it, and holding people, and holding my bed and things like that. But it was like incredible. It was really incredible. Then gradually I took the decision of taking an epidural, and I had prepared myself before my pregnancy. I told myself that come what may, I will be prepared for the worst, and as much as possible I would make things happen naturally instead of going for anything artificial. But anyway, it was some especially because the pain is induced artificially, the pain is more, like, because I didn't have natural labor, it's a whole double the pain that I had to experience compared to if I was naturally in labor. So anyway, that happened, and I decided to take epidural. Now epidural is actually an injection or an entire elaborate system where they inject you with medicine to take away 99% of the pain that you're facing during labor. And they keep that 1% because they need you to know what's happening, and they need you to feel movement through your vagina and stuff like that, because they can't completely make you 100% pain free. So my husband and I decided to take the epidural, and the doctor was like, are you sure? Because you still want a natural delivery, and a lot of times with epidural it so happens that a cesarean has to be done. And I said, no, I will still go for a natural delivery even though I'm taking an epidural. And so yeah, I was completely out of control. Like if you saw me at that time, you wouldn't believe that that was me, because I was in that much of pain. I was wriggling all over, and I was holding things and grabbing things so tightly. So, and I was screaming all on top of my voice. And the epidural happened, which took about half an hour. And the doctor that gave me the epidural, he came, and he was an interesting person. And he came to me, and he was trying to calm me down, and pressing my head and things like that. And he's like, and I'm in a world of pain, and I was like, oh my god, and whatever. And he's coming and trying to tell me, beta, you know what, what's your name, and did you have breakfast? He's trying to have a conversation, and I was like, doctor, don't have this conversation with me. I'm not in a place to speak about all this. Then he's like, you know what, the kind of pain that you're going through is supposed to be way more like the pain that a woman goes through during labor is like the pain that you feel when somebody's cutting your little finger with a hacksaw blade. And I was like, I am already feeling that. You need to get me out of this pain. So anyway, he was trying his best to talk me out of it and stuff like that. So then he gave me the epidural, and he's like, in 5 minutes you will be better and you'll feel less of the pain and stuff like that. So I said okay. And then I thought, okay, now that I've had the epidural, I think I'm going to take a long time to dilate and stuff like that. But no, I was still experiencing contractions like never before. Like I felt that the baby is going to pop out any second. So the contractions were left, right and center. And I was waiting for the moment where my water will break. But for some reason, that moment never happened. So I was thinking that first my water will break and then I will dilate and blah, blah, blah. But that didn't happen. So I was like, how long am I going to take? I don't know. Then I told the doctor, I said, doctor, I think my baby is going to come out any second. You got to check and dilate and check my dilation and take a call. And then he did that. He noticed that the baby's ready to come out. He examined my uterus again, and by this time it was almost 5 o'clock-ish. So he was like, okay, I think you've had the epidural now, and you're ready to kind of I'm going to attempt your delivery now. So they brought me back to the labor table in the labor room, and there you go. He was like, come on, you need to push through your contractions. And every time I had a contraction, I was asked to push. And imagine one of those scenes from the movies that you see where the woman is crying and trying to push. I was exactly doing that. I was sweating, and I was literally in a huge mess. And I was like, I think I had 4 people holding me, one over here, one on my hand, and 2 on my legs and stuff like that. And then the doctor, he actually gave me an episiotomy. Now, episiotomy is painful. It's a stitch, it's basically an incision that the doctor makes to expand the vagina, because, of course, the baby needs more room to come out. So he actually makes an incision from the vagina of the perineum till the anus. So yeah, to make more space for the baby. So he actually did that, and luckily, because I was on an epidural, I couldn't feel the pain so much. And then the baby comes out, and they actually monitored the heartbeat of the baby before he could come out, and they saw that the heartbeat started to reduce a little bit. And also they noticed that there was a cord around the baby's neck. So the doctor was like, if we delayed it anymore, it would have been dangerous for the baby, because there was a cord around the baby's neck, and we really had to take the baby out as soon as possible. So the heart rate went low, and when they took the baby out, there was a cord around the neck. So this happened at around 5:14. So my baby boy was born at 5:14 p.m. on the 3rd of March, and I was in so much of pain, and I was actually unconscious. I was almost unconscious. I couldn't see what's happening. My eyes were half closed. I actually thought that I would get to see my baby coming out, and I could see it from like very blurred vision. I saw that they were pulling the baby out with the umbilical cord and all of that. So I wanted to cry. I wanted to have emotions coming out, but I think the effect of the epidural was so much, and I just couldn't express or feel or do anything at all or say anything at all. And yeah, so they immediately cleaned the baby up, and they brought the baby to me, and we had a little bit of skin to skin contact from the cheek. So it was all so quick. Within a matter of 6 hours, my entire birth story was finished, which was so unpredictable. I thought this was going to take at least a day or two for me, but then I think it was quick thinking from the doctor's side. He decided to, do it really quick, so that the baby was not in danger. And there you go. And the baby was out, and I was out too. I was lying on the labor table for 2 hours with absolutely no sensations, and everybody was coming and congratulating me, but I really don't have much memory of it because I was completely, almost unconscious. So yeah. So what I had to say is that as much as I prepared for it, as much as I look forward to the entire labor, and I was so excited to meet my baby and bring him out into this world, and because the connection that I had built with him when he was in the womb, I was so looking forward to the labor, and luckily it got over so quickly. And I really, really, really cherish the entire process, the entire elaborate thing that happened. And yeah, and after that, it was when I saw the baby, I did, of course, every mother does, had tears in my eyes, and I just couldn't wait to start a new life, and have this whole experience of motherhood and parenting. And this is how my little baby boy came into this world and brought a whole bunch of joy and happiness with him. And I'm happy to share this experience with you. If this is going to be helpful to you in any ways, if you're pregnant now, or if you're planning a pregnancy, if you're a dancer or a non-dancer, feel free to get in touch with me and share your experience, or have any questions for me, feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer them again. And if you think pregnancy was difficult, oh my god, wait until the postpartum phase, and I'm going to talk more about it in my next video. So stay tuned and keep watching Straight from the Belly.